I spent the better part of 2 weeks going through USCG recall databases, factory worker reviews on Glassdoor and Indeed, and hundreds of forum posts on The Hull Truth, iBoats, and every fishing forum I could get into. What I pulled together is something a lot of boating channels won't touch because these brands buy advertising. I don't take a dime from any manufacturer. So let's get into it. These are 5 boat brands that the people who actually build them are begging you to avoid, and we're counting down from bad to absolute worst. Number 5, Tidewater. There's a reason mechanics on The Hull Truth started calling these boats Tidewater, and it wasn't out of affection. Tidewater builds center consoles and bay boats out of Washington, North Carolina in the $30,000 to $60,000 range, and on paper, they look like a solid deal. You're getting a boat that costs 30 to 40% less than a comparable Grady White or Boston Whaler. But here's what that discount actually buys you. Owners have documented gel coat stress cracks showing up on the gunnels within the first year on brand new boats. One guy bought a 2017 Tidewater, 230cc, and compiled a defect list that read like a punch list on a condemned building. Rear floor hatch, damaged on delivery. Front starboard hatch installed with a 1/4-inch overhang that sliced his shin open. Twice. Radio died from moisture. Bow eye not even tightened. Powder coat peeling everywhere. And just this year, the Tidewater 180 cubic centimeters bay got hit with a fresh USCG recall for failing a starboard stability test. That's not a cosmetic issue. That's a boat that can roll on you. But Tidewater's problems are mostly frustrating. The next brand on this list has issues that start on the factory floor itself. Number 4, NauticStar. I personally think NauticStar is the most underrated disaster in the mid-market boat world, and not because of one specific defect. It's because of what's happening inside their factory in Amory, Mississippi. NauticStar carries a 2.7 out of 5 on Glassdoor from its own employees. That's 22% below the manufacturing industry average. One factory worker flat out wrote that there is abundant drug use on the property with users actively working on the production line. Another said finished boats are being rejected by dealers for quality issues. Think about that. The product leaves the factory so flawed that the people trying to sell it send it back, and it shows in what reaches customers. One owner turned on his front of console live well fill and water poured straight into the bilge because the factory never actually connected the fill line to the live well. A marine mechanic who's torn apart multiple NauticStars found stringer delamination inside the hull on recent production models. For those unfamiliar, stringers are what keep your boat from folding in half. When those go, you're looking at $3,000 to $6,000 in structural repair on a boat you just bought. Now, if a factory sending out boats that dealers reject sounds bad, wait until you hear about a brand that's been failing the same federal safety test for 13 straight years. Number 3, Seafox. This is where the list stops being about sloppy craftsmanship and starts being about your safety. Seafox has racked up 6 or more USCG recalls since 2009, and every single one is for the exact same defect category: port stability and level flotation failures. 2 more dropped in April of 2022 alone. 13 years of the identical problem is not a bad batch. That's a broken manufacturing process that nobody fixed. I actually spent 3 hours one night just reading through owner accounts on this brand, and the stories are rough. A marine surveyor reported reaching into a Seafox compartment to check fittings and pulling his arm back. Bleeding from raw, unfinished fiberglass edges left inside the hull. One owner of a 2009 Seafox 256 center console had the hull split open and spent 8 months waiting for a factory repair that came back. In his words, a mess. Another owner dropped $7,000 on fiberglass repairs on a boat that was barely a year old, and the detail that really sticks with me. An owner of a Seafox 257 walk-around said he could feel the hull flexing through his feet in 2 to 3 foot seas. Just light chop. He said if you bang your fist on the side of a Seafox hull, then do the same thing on a sailfish or a robalo, you hear the difference immediately. One sounds solid, the other sounds hollow. If you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. I cover the stuff your dealer won't tell you every week. No sponsors, no brand deals, just what's physically inside these boats. Now, the last 2 brands on this list have something in common. They're the biggest names in budget boating. They've been around for decades. and their recall numbers will make your stomach turn. Number 2. Bayliner. Bayliner holds the record for the highest total unit count recalled among mid-market boat brands. 3,257 boats across 14 separate USCG complaint categories, going all the way back to 1976. The Bayliner Capri line alone accounts for over 1,200 units with ungrounded fuel filler pipes. That's an explosion risk. In 2014, 873 Bow Rider units were recalled for stereo wiring that could start an electrical fire. But the structural issues are what really keep mechanics up at night. One owner of a 2000 Bayliner Trophy 25-foot walk-around had both stringers crack while running in 3-foot seas. Repair estimate, $20,000, on a boat worth maybe $15,000. Another owner cut into his Bayliner hull and found large air bubbles between the cured fiberglass and the wood core, where the laminate was basically draped over the ribs like a bed sheet instead of bonded tight to the structure. A 35-year veteran at the Brunswick factory in Fort Wayne, Indiana, the plant that builds Bayliners, wrote on Indeed that upper management has lost their way, that they forgot skilled craftsmanship was the backbone of the company. When experienced workers left overpay, quality collapsed, overtime skyrocketed, threats were made, and even more workers walked. That's a death spiral, and it's the boat buyer who pays for it at the repair shop. But Bayliner at least has the excuse of being a decades-old legacy brand with some genuinely improved newer models in the mix. The brand sitting at number 1 on this list? No such excuse. Number 1, Tracker. Tracker Marine, owned by Bass Pro Shops through their subsidiary White River Marine Group, holds 44 individual USCG recalls. That is the single highest count of any mid-market fishing boat manufacturer in the entire federal database. Consumer ratings match the recalls. 2.1 out of 5 stars across over 100 reviews on Pissed Consumer. The signature Tracker defect is aluminum hull weld failure, and the examples are infuriating. One owner of a 2020 Tracker Grizzly 2072 found roughly 50 loose rivets inside the hull, with the transom to motor welds actively cracking apart. Another Grizzly owner documented that 75% of all welds on a brand new boat needed to be completely redone at his own expense, and the one that genuinely made me angry during this research. A 2019 Tracker Pro 175 TXW leaked like a sieve since day one. It sat at the dealer for 7 months with zero improvement. And Tracker's official suggested fix: apply Flex Seal to the hull. That is a consumer caulking product you buy at Walmart for $15 on a boat that people put their families in. Tracker uses aluminum that's about 30% thinner than what competitors like Lund put in their hulls. That gap doesn't sound like much on a spec sheet until you're in rough water and your hull is flexing and popping rivets under your feet. A Bass Pro manager actually acknowledged to the Better Business Bureau that there were a lot of returns because of bad welding during the COVID era. And factory workers on Glassdoor confirmed the culture, describing a product that is losing quality more and more every year because the factory tries to push volume at the expense of everything else. So what do you actually do with all of this information? 3 things. First, never skip a professional marine survey, even on a brand new boat. Factory defects on new units from every dealer lot are documented across all 5 of these brands. A survey runs $20 to $35 per foot. On a 22-foot center console, that's around $500. Cheap insurance against a $6,000 stringer job. Second, production year matters as much as the brand name printed on the hull. Bayliner's worst years were 1987 through 2000. Seafox was roughest before 2012, and anything built during the COVID-era production surge of 2020 through 2022 should get extra scrutiny regardless of the nameplate. Third, the price gap between these 5 brands and the next tier up, boats like Sea Hunt, Sportsman, Cobia, or Robalo, is often only $5,000 to $15,000 more. For that, you're getting tinned wiring, through-bolted hardware, better fiberglass layup, and significantly better resale value. That premium isn't a luxury. It's the cost of not paying for the same boat twice. If you've watched till the end, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.